Here in the suburbs of Birmingham, just south of the city, lies Swanshurst Secondary School. It's a big, multi-ethnic, all-girls secondary school with 1,800 pupils and 150 teaching staff. Although large, this school prides itself on encouraging a caring, family atmosphere, something in which the support team play a crucial role. In this programme, we'll be spending a day in the life of some of these vital men and women as they ease the load of the teaching staff, focusing on their pastoral work. We'll see life-changing decisions about careers and coursework. We'll be on call with the nurse dealing with pains and sprains. We'll track the translators as they overcome the language barrier and discover how a fluffy duck helped boost a charity appeal.
My friend's going to be sick.
Receptionist Dawn Field has to be prepared for everything.
There you go. If you give that to your friend and go and wait outside the nurse's room, she'll be back in a bit. Okay.
The school's had a full-time nurse for the last 4 years. She's Pam Hayes, who's brought a lifetime of experience to the job.
We used to have our receptionists and our admin team who were trained as first aiders, including some staff, and they were then taken from their other duties in order to look after sick children. And don't forget, we have 1,800 students here, so it is inevitable that at some point in every day somebody's not going to feel very well. Now, the other advantage is that the nurse clearly has medical knowledge to a depth that we don't have, and we can trust her judgment to take the right call at the right time, and she's always on hand to support students if they have any particular needs.
The school day has only just begun, but the patients are already stacking up.
Maybe if I go home I can miss my French test. That would be really, really good because I haven't studied for it yet.
A couple of weeks ago we had a youngster who had a convulsion, and again that was an undiagnosed youngster, so we had to get paramedics on site quite urgently for her and get her hospitalised. It can range from anything really, from falls to illness. My experience so far has been that on average there's a fracture every couple of weeks.
Over in the hall, careers advice, another task traditionally shoehorned into the teacher's role, is now organised from the office. Booking more than a dozen professional women to attend this workshop has not been easy.
People arriving late because they'd closed down one part of the motorway, so again it was jumping people in at the last minute. I had been prepared for chaos, so and I think if you come in prepared for it, then it's not too bad. You just sort of expect the worst, then everything else is really good after that. I just wanted to actually welcome you all to this session today, Visible Women. And just wanted to say to you girls, really, this is your opportunity at this session now to actually speak to the ladies that have come in, who have volunteered the precious time to actually come in to see you today, and ask the questions you've always wanted to ask about being in business. The purpose of the day is to actually offer our Year 9 students, before they actually choose their pathways, or more often known as options, is to actually allow them to access different women, as we call it, visible women from the business world, to find out sort of how they got to their job, you know, what qualifications did they need, is it their own company, what do they enjoy about their job.
13-year-old Bashra faces some of those agonising decisions about options. And today her mom and auntie have arrived at the school to hear how she's getting on. They have an appointment with the learning support team, and the parent link worker will be on hand to help with communication.
If there was a speaker from Gujarati, I'd speak Gujarati. If he was a Urdu, I'd speak Urdu. And if he was a Punjabi, Henko, I'd speak that too. It depends, but as we work as a team in the school, it is crucial that my role here fits in with the parents and to make them feel at ease.
Pashman Khan is our parent link worker, and it is her job to do as is described, to link specifically with parents, often parents who either don't feel comfortable coming into school or have access difficulties through transport or through having younger siblings or something like that. And she's able to go out from school and go and visit them in their home.
She's highly respected for the parents and the girls. She's the link between home and school. They look to her. She understands the culture, she understands the religion, and the girls really do respect her. Without Pashmin, my life would be very much more difficult. As it is, it's just an easy transition now because I do have her with me on reviews like this.
She also speaks several community languages, and so we're in a position of her being able to communicate somewhat better than we perhaps can in terms of dealing with parents who perhaps come from an ethnic background who all speak a language that we unfortunately don't.
कर रहे हैं उस नाल है ना ते मैं चाहनी है कार च अगर भी हो सकना ना अगर इंग्लिश च बोली सके तो फिर बहुत अच्छी गल है
इंग्लिश बोली है ये अपने सिस्टर नाल या ब्रदर नाल भी ऐसा
है ना कि she does speak to her brother and sister in English.
Swanshurst is certainly culturally and ethnically diverse, but prides itself on pulling together at times of crisis. And their response to the tsunami disaster has unified the whole school, with the office coordinating the appeal. Today they're hoping to boost that with a charity auction on the school's website. Caretaker Derek Jones is even willing to part with his lucky fluffy duck for the right price.
Oh, what have you been doing?
Oh, this spring.
How did this happen?
Well, you know in science where you have the big kind of metal scaffolding stuff, it kind of got hit by that when my friend was moving the Bunsen burner over. Really, really hurts. I think my teacher thought it was sprained, but I don't know.
Is it all right if I have a little look just to see that we're okay? Just relax your hand on. That's lovely. It's quite cold, your hand, isn't it? Your fingers are okay.
Yeah.
There's no pain down there.
No, just my wrist.
That's great, okay. And your elbow's all right?
Yeah,
Good girl.
that's fine.
I'd like you to do
The nurse can offer far more than just clinical advice.
It's often things that they find difficult to talk about, emotional things quite frequently. It takes somebody who's got time to sit with them, and it may not be what presents, it may be a tummy ache or a headache, but actually when you get down to it there's much more complex needs. And when you can talk things through and explain to them that sometimes it's helpful for members of staff or parents to know, and that actually most people are here to help them, often they are keen for other people to be in possession of that knowledge to provide support to them. We're just going to put that on there, Mercy. I'll put that on there to ease the swelling, and I'll just get the phone whilst you sit there with that on you.
With 1,800 girls, lost jewellery is a huge problem at Swanshurst. Once again, the office staff are there to lend a helping hand.
Yeah, I don't think I've had anything from this one, but we can have a look through. Well, we've got loads of jewellery, but not many earrings. Recognise any of those? Yeah, that one. I think it's that one. Okay.
And what about coursework, the dreaded coursework? How are you doing with that?
I've got one piece that's being by March.
Right, so you've got plenty of time for that.
It's all written though, so...
Which subject is
Student Sarah is having a crunch meeting with one of the school's full-time learning mentors, Muna Butt. Sarah's work reveals she's CD borderline for her forthcoming GCSEs, and the pressure is on to improve her grades.
And what's the deadline for that? Is it soon?
Today.
Is it today? Right, okay.
The learning mentors are not distracted by having to go and teach. They're able to devote all their time to supporting the individuals and the youngsters who they're responsible for. And it supports the teachers in their role in making sure that every student achieves their very, very best. And that's, after all, what we're about.
When you're in lessons, are you as attentive and do you concentrate as much as you should, or what?
Well, I do my best, but I have to say, I'm easily distracted.
She has been struggling, but I think we've made it clear to her that she has the capability to do well, and she's just become a little bit lazy and can do really well if she just puts in the maximum effort now and organises herself.
Motivating students like Sarah is just one of the mentors' jobs.
Well, I can speak in Urdu or Punjabi.
When they're not counselling, they spend a lot of time on the phone, tracking and tracing all the pupils who are absent.
Stomach pains. And how is she doing at the moment?
Prolonged ill health has kept this girl off school, and she's now getting some help in catching up on coursework. Other cases can involve a little more detective work.
We look at a pupil's attendance record, and from there you can usually, from patterns of attendance, pick out problems that they may be experiencing, for example, absent on a Tuesday afternoon or on a Friday, and you can then spot that there might be an issue with a particular subject that they're having problems in, and they're refusing to come in on that day.
The Which Way Now Careers Day is now in full swing, and the visible women are making quite an impression.
Do you enjoy your job? I love my job. I've been doing it for 7 years, and it's one of the best jobs I've ever had, particularly at this time. If I didn't like it, I wouldn't do it, and I've had many jobs where I thought, I don't like this, and so I've stopped it and I've gone and done something else.
And then I went to work for Tesco's for a year, so I did some food retailing.
That's
Very different, very different. And also, you do something like £1,200,000 every week in a Tesco store.
I started my job approximately 4 days after I finished taking my GCSEs, because the company provide all of the qualifications for you.
Is it all right, Chloe?
Nurse Pam Hayes is busy dealing with a painful sore throat. There's been a virtual epidemic of colds and flu throughout the school, but regulations prevent her issuing paracetamol or aspirin, something she's campaigning to change.
It can be very frustrating, and parents find it frustrating also, because they're needing to collect youngsters who they know hopefully would be able to remain in school if they were able to give the paracetamol to them to make them feel better.
Joe Princeton and the caretaker's duck arrive at the IT department, where they're building a charity auction website, hoping to add to the £2,000 already raised for the Tsunami Disaster Relief Fund. Swanshurst has a big team of IT technicians who look after the school's website, in addition to repairing and servicing all the equipment on site. Derek Jones is more than happy playing the fool for one of the school's good causes. The school gave him much support after a personal tragedy.
I lost my family in a car accident, my wife, son and 3 grandchildren, and the dog and the cat was in the car. They were going down our van in Weymouth. Because living on the site, it's always nice as a bit of a bolt hole, and unfortunately on the way down there in August '98, Mary swerved, that was my wife, something was in the road, and unfortunately it crashed, overturned and burst into flames. And obviously it's horrific, but Swanshurst was absolutely brilliant. Margaret Threadgold was the head. Mary's funeral was going to be on the day back in '98, and she closed the school, which was absolutely superb to me, obviously. So she shut all day, and also obviously the school knew Mary very, very well, being my wife, and which allowed all the members of staff, and I think altogether nearly 600 people turned up at the funeral. But I have to be honest, Swanshurst and the kids, and it was their idea to put a bench in. Some of the children wanted to put the bench in, and they were concerned that it upset me, and saying that, you know, me seeing it. But it's something like that you never forget. You're never really free of it. But a lot of confidence and what I got from the school.
Derek's tragic story graphically illustrates the school's abiding ethos of helping one another. And, not surprisingly, he won't have a word said against the girls of Swanshurst.
You hear so much about the kids of today. That year, I had fantastic support, absolutely fantastic from the kids, everybody. I mean, you couldn't have wished for any better support.